That call. The number to call will be projected on the screen at this point in time. So, Mr. Wiseman, please continue.
So if you look at the subsidies in the first place, they were only allocating money for their friends to steal. They were only, it was not being run in a sane manner. Because there is no sanity in bringing people who do not understand anything about petrol to run petrol resources. They turned it into political jingoism. So, and it was because they wanted to steal from it. Look at it. For the past 3 years, there have been complaints that the NNPC never remitted any dime. Who were those people who did not remit? Why are they not being arrested? Why is it that this government has come there, did not investigate the subsidy before saying subsidy is gone? Which means that all of the money stolen from subsidy is gone with the winds. So it means that what they are doing was allocating subsidy to be stolen. The subsidy we are talking about is bringing, in fact, you don't even really need subsidy when you own all of the refineries. So we need government to own refineries. We need government to make sure those refineries work for the people. And we need those refineries to be operated by the working people. The people that are working there. Not when you bring somebody who you call an expert, technocrat that does not know anything, and not the person over workers. And at the end of the day, those people go there, they steal with, left, right, center, mouth. And at the end of the day, you then come back to lament and blame we the victims, blame we the oppressed, blame we the people that we are the cause of the problem. So if they are returning subsidies on education, we don't even want subsidy on education. We want government true, real, quality sponsorship of education, free, functional, quality education at all levels.
Now, Wiseman, let me ask you, you've actually pointed this out earlier on. There are successful international best practices or examples that Nigeria could learn from in addressing the problem of fuel pricing. Do you have any in mind at this point?
Yes, I raised one that if you want to make sure that price of petrol comes down, own the refineries. Make the refineries work. Till today, the bulwark of the petrol we have in Nigeria today, the bulk of it is still from the NNPC. So why are you privatizing it strategically? Why are you privatizing it indirectly and making petrol price hike? Because all of these private profiteers that you are depending on...
I'll get back to you. Just hold on. We have another caller on the line. Hello. Hello, caller. Can you hear us? Hello, can you hear us? I think we... Hello, caller, can you hear us?
Yeah, this is Daniel calling from Lagos.
All right, please go ahead, Daniel.
Hello?
Hello, please go ahead, Daniel.
We have some constituency consultation of the African.
Say that again, please.
I have some constituency consultation of the African.
Please go ahead, go ahead.
Yes, listen. When it comes to this war issue, I don't like it's attributed to because look at it this way, how to do because because of the rising cost of war and transportation, I'm unable to just go there.
Yeah.
Well, that's a serious impact on you. I mean, that's quite sad. I mean,
I just want the government that just efforts find a way to have just efforts to price for because it's really affecting Nigeria. Nigeria is affected
all right, Daniel. Thanks for your input. So you heard Daniel there. The impact it is having, and Nigerians are already feeling it at this point in time. I mean, and is the government really listening? I mean, to the sufferings of the people?
Yes, you know that I believe this government won't listen because there are some things we need to also understand. First is that this government is suffering from a lot of illegitimacy. is having problem with illegitimacy. The selection process, was cheeky, was embarrassing, It was a government selected, forced on the people. And is trying every bit to have global support. So is rushing to the global capitalist ruling class, to give them full support, to give them backing. And that's why you find this government, they signed not only Tinubu, Atiku, Obi, Kwakwanso, all of them went to Chatham House. They signed treaties. They signed memorandums of understanding with the global capitalist class, the imperialists. And so the pressure from imperialism is what they work on more. And they feel that to get legitimacy, you have to do everything the World Bank wants. To get legitimacy, you have to do everything the IMF wants. Many of them do not have the courage of what somebody like Yaradua did. He got to government out of illegitimacy and decided, instead of suffering the people more and continuing from where Obasanjo stopped, he started retracting many of the things Obasanjo did. He started retracing his step. He started, he's not a saint. His government with 7-point agenda was a pointless agenda, at a point. That government was also confused on so many things. But if you look at some of the things it did, it fought corruption at a point. Probably one of the truest fights against corruption. It tried to resolve insecurity by granting amnesty to the Niger Delta people. You get it? One expected that if this government had learned lessons, for instance, Nnamdi Kanu should have been released. It would have eased some insecurity from the southeast. For instance, this government would have said, there will never be any increment in petrol price. Let Nigerians, you get it, be able to at least garner some things for themselves. Many Nigerians depend on petrol. And that takes me to the blackmail that some people are saying we want to go to another sort of energy and the rest. And you ask them, what was in your manifesto? Only Omoyele Showore's manifesto, only the African Action Congress. We were the only ones who talked about diversification. But we didn't talk about diversification by forcing people to buy petrol at very high rates. No. By making sure that people suffer, people go to pains. No. You don't resolve things on pains by first forcing pains on people. They said endure today so that tomorrow you will enjoy. But the same people that are asking you to endure today, they got 114% increment on the already bogus and embarrassing salaries. The same people, out of the so-called 500 billion on palliative, 70 billion to the parliament, 35 billion to the judges. You get it? And you keep seeing the judges coming up. It's because of the tribunal, the election tribunal. These are attempts to bribe their way to government. You get it? And then you find this same government, at the point Tinubu came to this Lagos with about 100 and something convoy. People counted it, convoy, pia. They were using petrol. And they are asking Nigerians to diversify. At the point they came with the blackmail of Nigerians should be using bicycle. I think people should start taking bicycle from here to Ibadan, from here to Shagamu and a lot of other places. So diversification is not done on the basis of the pains on the people. You get it? You don't diverse, you diverse for the better, not diverting on the pains of the people.
Now, how important is public awareness and education in creating a more informed and engaged citizenry that can actively participate in finding solutions to the issue of oil crisis?
Yeah. When you talk about public education, you don't build something on nothing. You cannot educate the public when you are making them suffer. I'm happy with the call of Daniel. That call, he's still a creamy person, a buttish person. Nigerians are not Britain. You cannot educate a hungry person. So expect more crimes. Because a hungry person is an angry person. And these are Nigerians. Look at it now. Even beggars now. We soon turn to crime. Because at a point before, there were so many beggars. But now it's reducing because if you beg for 2, 3, 4, 5 days and you don't see anybody to give you any alms, You don't see anybody to give you money. You have to go looking for another way. And you know, what do you expect from a beggar? Is it to work or somebody who was not ready to work in the first place? I said, it's ridiculous that the unemployment, Nigeria is topping the chart of unemployment globally at 33.3%. United States is not even so visible on the unemployment chart, but is paying massively unemployment benefits to the point that people were leaving the jobs that are not paying them and going out of employment so that they can get the unemployment benefit. You get it? So we are in a dire situation. The die is cast. To educate people now to understand, it's just like slapping people and telling them not to cry. That's what it means.
Now, even though Nigerians seems to have lost hope in the Nigerian Labour Congress after the last fuel price hike, what role can civil society organizations and advocacy groups play in pressuring the government to take action on fuel increases and supporting affected communities?
You know, the situation with the Nigerian Labour Movement, I won't call it NLC, because if you look at the NLC, the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress, you know, which I actually belong to, they are both bureaucrats, a group of bureaucrats. You know, NLC, TUC are people who are workers' assistants, who are workers' leaders. You know, many of them, if you look at their bureaucracy from up to down, cannot be said to be able to do things on behalf of workers. And I think the major mistake the NLC did was rushing to the last strike without roundly mobilizing, because he didn't realize that there was a very serious mistake before the election. NLC's, TUC's open support for the Labour Party, which was not critical. It was not a critical support. Because a real Labour movement cannot support a Labour Party that was to remove subsidy. The Peter Obi Labour Party said they will remove subsidy. They even went ahead to say that they were going to earn as you work. That means you earn per hour, which is actually expensive casualization. The Tinubu government is going to be adopting it. You know, it's expensive casualization. So the Labour movement shouldn't have just supported Labour Party as Labour Party. They should have gone ahead, you get it, to support the ideas of the Labour Party. Because the Labour Party had a candidate that was not interested in the Labour Party's manifesto. The real Labour Party's manifesto does not support the removal of subsidy. It does not support the casualization of the working class. It does not support the floating of the naira, because the naira is a paper that you cannot float. If you leave the naira unfixed, it will sink. And that is what it's saying. The naira is sinking against the dollar. So the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Nigerian Trade Union Congress and the entire Labour movement made a mistake of not openly denouncing the candidates of the Labour Party by saying, oh, we agree the Labour Party is our own party, we own the Labour Party. But these candidates of the Labour Party are against the ideas of the Labour Party. It happened in Britain. Tony Blair was a British Prime Minister under the Labour Party. But he was the one who was used massively to introduce several neoliberal attacks on Britons, to the effect that the Labour Party had to now move back to the Jeremy Corbyn's era, where the real ideas of the Labour Party were coming to play. Right. So with that, when the NLC wanted to strike, they used that blackmail against the NLC. It was an easy duel. And you know that this Tinubu's government, they have the best understanding of the civil society. Because Tinubu's over 24 years of pretense of being a leftist made him to be close to a lot of radicals, made him to be close to a lot of civil society. You know, he played a major role in ruining the Nigerian left. He recruited a lot of eggheads from the Nigerian left, destroyed them, but moved them to the right, made a lot of them assistants. So he had a very, very dangerous incursion into the civil society and the left. And so the only way to rally the civil society, to rally the labor movement and all of us, is for us to come back to unite around basic ideals of the left, basic ideals of the civil society, basic ideals of the labor movement. And what are these basic ideas? People first. People first. The Nigerian people first. The Nigerian people deserve free, functional and quality education at all levels. The Nigerian people deserve free, functional and quality healthcare at all levels. The Nigerian people deserve employment basically massively. Once you are finishing from the university, at a point in this country, once you are graduating, there is work already waiting for you. At a point in this country, the textile industry used to have over 250,000 workers, even in Kaduna, which used to be the base of the textile workers. At the point in this country, we were already going closer to manufacturing cars. That's why you have the Ajakuta steel mill there, still moribund. So they are living the ideals of the labor movement, and then we need to build back around these ideas.
Right. Well, we're still in the analyzing the trending news on the Nigerian newspaper headlines this morning, and for a brief moment we'll be going on a short break, and when we're back we'll be